You got challenges that you're going to run across.
When you have a job and you have a home-based business, that's the best of both worlds because you can take advantage of the tax breaks from having that. So give a person an idea why they should have some kind of home-based business and operate it, ethically at least, because of the tax breaks that the government gives you.
Yeah, and this is why I tell people, when I ask people, I say, do you read? And they say, oh, yeah, I read. I say, do you read personal development or business development stuff? And I know they don't, because when they tell me, well, I don't want no business because I don't have time to run the business and I said, let me tell you something. Rich and successful people don't necessarily always start businesses to make a lot of money. Sometimes they start businesses to save a lot of money, because every day, bro, you using your cell phone. Every day you're eating. Every day you're using your car. You're using your internet. You're using your computer. You're using your home office. So you're doing these things anyway. And if you don't have a business, you ain't getting no type of break for it. So why not put a business into play, get credit for all of these things, and let it pay for these things? Because if I'm able to save $2,000 on my taxes, I can take them $2,000 and pay off all of the bills that I use for the business. But you're doing it anyway. And that's the thing that people don't understand.
Give us another something that will people can relate to, that's simple, because I know people still hearing and thinking, taxes and our business. And I mean, the simplicity of it to me is so crazy, but that's because I know it now. But if a person listening for the first time and they've heard other people say it, but you a tax guy, you just gave an example about the cell phone and stuff. Give us a few more of why and what does a person need to do? Let's say they start a home-based business. A lot of folks have problems with network marketing. I'm a network marketing guy. But let's just say they start one, because the business doesn't have to profit. It doesn't say you got to be rich. It doesn't say. It just said you must attempt to do certain things. So why you should start one and operate it while you attempting. You might learn something, like you said. You might learn sales skills. But if you don't, why not just have it for that reason?
Yeah, but I don't know if it could get more simpler than what I said. If you're using stuff every day anyway, I'm not asking you to do nothing different. No, I'm not asking you to go buy a phone, go buy a computer, get internet service, buy a car, drive your car, go eat, go out with your friends and eat, take somebody out. I'm not asking you to do anything you're not already doing. So the simplicity of it is now if I got a business, all of those things can now be tax deductible. So I can reduce the amount of taxes that I have to pay. So if I have a W-2 and I made $80,000, I'm gonna get taxed on $80,000. But if I got a business and I'm writing off all the things that I'm using anyway, and let's say I spend up to $15,000 in expenses, so that might be my mileage on my car, that might be my cell phone every month, going out to eat, all those things. Now that $15,000 reduces the $80,000, and now I'm paying taxes on $65,000. So now I'm paying taxes. So
how much simpler can that get?
Yeah, because I made $80,000, but I'm paying on $65,000. So that means now I'm gonna either get a much bigger refund, or if I usually owe money, I'm gonna owe much less, or I can bring more money home throughout the year. Because see, I can even adjust my W-4. So even what they take out of my taxes every year, each pay period, I can bring it home so I can live better throughout the year. Because now I don't have to worry about owing at the end of the year, because I have the business as a loophole to offset that.
Okay, what do they say? Well, I ain't making no money, so ain't that illegal if I don't make any money from that? Like, that's what people tell me. And they say it just like that. If I ain't making no money.
And I say that's the exact reason why you should do it. Because if you, like you said, if you're intentionally trying to operate a business and I'm spending out money, even if I didn't make no money, I can still use those write-offs that I spend as long as I'm actively pursuing my business. So if I don't make no money, that's a great thing for tax purposes. That's a great thing.
I mean, it's just. I think we're so conditioned to what I call inbox thinking, and the inbox thinking is go to school, go get education, go get a good job, and if you want to make more money, go get a master's degree or PhD, or work part-time at a big company like UPS or FedEx. And that's the box that we're in. So then when we come to you and say, you ought to do something else, that's scary to most people because they hadn't heard it. It's like it's illegal to them. Like there's something wrong with that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And I guess that conditioning for years is hard to crack.
But know what? It's not as much fear with people who have jobs and work. It's more of I invested all this money and time into school, so I don't want to seem like a waste. So even if I convince you, Tony, that you're going to make more money working on your own than you would as a worker, you still may not do it because you'd invested so much time and money. So if you just switch, now you feel like, man, I didn't waste all this time and money. So you feel like you got to get your money's worth. And that's how a lot of people think. They feel like they got to get their money's worth. And so they don't want to get into business or do a business. And like you said, I'm not telling people to quit your job to start a business.
No. You could just have a part-time business. I think another thing too is the people that's a part of this United States, I call it the cult, C-U-L-T. If they see you attempting to do something like that, it's like they're going to try to pull you back and say something is wrong with that. That's another thing too, because they don't have the knowledge to understand. You might find a person that's reading books and understanding and maybe even taking your classes and the stuff that you have, because we're going to talk about that at the end too, how people can get that. And so they start getting the knowledge of what they should do. And then they come home and start doing it. But then here go mama, here go sister, here go my neighbor. You can't do that. You got to stay within this box. You can't go do that. And that's another thing that people have. They got to understand that, other people's opinion is that's what they are, other people's opinion.
Yeah. But you know what? All that's going to change soon, though, because I'm gravitating more to millennials. And what was happening with millennials, their parents are parents that come from a background of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So now, they came up and they don't have the whole work mentality. And so now a lot of young people are seeing their parents. They grew up seeing their parents being entrepreneurs. So they don't even understand the whole job, go to work for 40 years, get a 401k. They don't even understand that. Like, you talk to some of them young people now, man, they be like, work somebody's job, man. I ain't trying to work for nobody. So you get a lot of that. What I try to get them to understand too, that, just be intentional in what you're doing, because it ain't for everybody. Instagram and social media make it look easy for everybody. But again, you just need to have, all right, what's my plan if this business don't work? Do I have another business? Do I have a skill? Do I need to go get a trade or what? So you need to have some type of plan, in place. And because I don't think they're coming up in a time where working jobs, and then it's just not that many jobs as it used to be.
Right.
So that's discouraging.
Especially with this AI coming out and you got these robots everywhere.
Exactly.
Everything,
Yes.
So now let's talk about this born or made, because you said that entrepreneurs are born that way. So that thought process you have, because I know people listening to you would say, well, I'm not like that. Listening to him talk, I'm different. I don't operate like that. Now, I know that, certain things you're born with now, but what about influences? Who influenced you? Because it had to be, because, if you listen to or read certain books, I love, can't think of this doctor's name. I think it's, it's going to come to me. I'm going to put it on the screen too, one of his books. But he talks about that from the age, pretty much from the womb to age 7, you're groomed and programmed mentally there. Everything that you heard kind of gives you an idea of who you're going to be mindset-wise, the people that you hang around at that time. Now, you could change it, just by doing the books and all that. But most people don't change it. So that's how they can predict how many people go into prison, how they build prisons based on that, because that's the theta phase in your life. Like that's the time that you program the most. So were you around entrepreneurs? Were people in your family always selling something, or was it something that, who influenced you the most? Who was your biggest influence? Or make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.